Are you seeing the same arguments reoccur in your relationship over and over again, and you just can't seem to get past it? Or it could be that you can't seem to walk through your differences. Here are 5 quick tips on how to put an end to them. And make sure you watch till the end for tip number 5. It literally changes everything. First thing you need to do is learn how to recognize the recurring argument cycle. In every argument, there are usually signs to show you that an argument is about to start. So you need to identify some of those pre-argument warning signals, and which may include things like becoming very irritable, becoming obsessed with your partner's offending behavior, picking on things you normally would overlook, answering a question with a question. If you can observe yourselves going into the cycle, you can sometimes prevent an argument that you know from experience isn't going to get you anywhere. Why not take a moment and identify those cycles and see whether you can break that cycle? Tip number 2, there could be a need sometimes to take a break in the middle of an argument. That sounds strange because in the heat of the argument, we want to fight to win and make our point very clear. But taking a break in the middle of the argument is simply slowing down the process to give yourselves time to think about what the underlying issue is. You take control and say something like, you know what, can we stop and come back to this issue later? You don't have to solve every problem all at once. It's okay to solve the problem one piece at a time. So if you decide to postpone the argument, tell your spouse, I really want to stop now and come back to this later. You know what? That shows your commitment to the process of resolving the problem. Tip number 3. In avoiding recurring arguments, you have to deal with the problems as they occur. A big mistake couples make is to deal with many problems at the same time. It's like trying to solve 3 months of grievances in a single meeting. That will be counterproductive and trigger off recurring arguments, finger pointing, and you end up in a stalemate. A good way to deal with this is the moment you realize that something is bothering you. Don't let it fester for too long or snowball into a bigger argument. Deal with it immediately with sensitivity and honesty. Don't go to bed wishing the problem will somehow disappear the next morning. You know what? They never really do. Tip number 4. Find out what exactly you are arguing about. Sometimes little quarrels or arguments can be a cover-up for the bigger problems that you have. Let's give a practical example here. Let's say you and your spouse are arguing about where to take a vacation. Chances are there are some bigger issues underlying that conflict. Let's be honest here, it's not that difficult to figure out where to go on vacation. You can either take turns choosing or blend your choices. But if you find yourself clashing and arguing over the matter over and over again, you need to stop and ask yourself, why is choosing a vacation becoming such a big deal? If your wife responds by saying, well, you make all the decisions in this marriage, there you have it. You've just uncovered an underlying power issue. She feels you never let her decide on anything. So the problem is not really about choosing a vacation, but rather a wife who feels she has no control over the decision-making process in the marriage. So always identify what the real issues are in an argument. And tip number 5, examine yourselves after every argument. This is important because we normally don't think we have a part to play in recurring arguments. It's always the other person's fault. And sometimes the things that we don't like in others is actually a reflection of the dark side of who we are. Before you start casting the first stone, it's always better to take a look at ourselves because it takes two to get an argument going. Ask yourself, in what way am I directly or indirectly contributing to the escalation of this quarrel or argument in my relationship? Don't let bickering and recurring arguments destroy your relationship. The more you feed that recurring argument, it's like pressing the relationship self-destruct button. You can reason together with respect, maturity, and understanding. Feel free to leave comments and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. And also check out the next video after this one on why couples fight about money. That's another sticking point in a relationship. And I'll see you in the next video.